Hello everybody and welcome to the Team Grothendieck weekly status meeting. Today is Tuesday the 17th of October. Let's start straight away with Nicola. We'll get an update from him. So just to frame it, we're still in the trying to get our Daedalus release out, which is our Daedalus Mantis integration. And besides that, we're working on a whole bunch of test suite stuff and just some general refactoring and some bugs that we found in beta. So Nicola, how's things going?
Hi guys, nice to be here. Well, as you said, it's my first time to join your weekly meetings, so I'm not really accustomed to what you guys speak about here. So I'll just quickly go to the stuff that we've been working on throughout the last week.
Perfect.
Basically, our biggest task is currently just to set up, let's say, parallel API handling. So for our currently only one, for our current ADA implementation, so we are currently extending that to also support ETC. And we have been implementing several of API endpoints, for example, the ones which fetch the accounts and account balances, as well as creating a new accounts. So that's the current scope of our work. So we have been able to create all this structure, and it currently works pretty good. Of course, there are some things that we are still missing. There are also some differences between the ETC and the ADA API. For example, on ADA side, we have wallets with wallet names, which are stored on the API level. And we don't have such thing as far as I know for ETC. So these are kind of tasks that we need to handle within the Daedalus itself. So because we need wallet names, or let's say account names, in order to display and run the UI as we currently do for the ADA side. So that's pretty much it. Not sure if you're interested in more details.
Oh, that's a good summary. I mean, one thing that springs to mind is you wouldn't use the key as the account name just to shortcut that, because I think ETC users are probably used to just using the key names.
Well, that was like our first idea, and then we decided to actually use the ID or the key as a in a logic where we use key value pairs, so ID and then some custom name that we show in the UI. Because for example, when you try to create a new wallet or new account within the Daedalus, you always have to, you have to enter the name, and we display the name in many places. So it's kind of more appropriate to use something which user can, better recognize as a, for example, I don't know, maybe something like my private wallet or shopping wallet or whatever. So, and the other thing is that usually the custom names are quite shorter than the wallet, than the account keys. So that's one of the reasons why we decided to move along with creating our own custom implementation within the Daedalus application.
Okay, great. Thanks, Nicola. And just in terms of approach then, are you just basically working on the integration until it's done, or have you tried to estimate how long it's going to take?
Well, it's hard to kind of estimate how much work it will take, but yeah, we'll probably have more correct overview by the end of next week, because by that time we'll probably sort out most of the UI related issues. So just to cover the gap between the API differences from the ADA and the ETC. And once we sort it out, then we'll have a, let's say, a much clearer view or vision of what we else need to do. So basically going step by step, just like creating transactions, loading transaction, etc. So,
Okay.
and obviously the last part will be implementation of more specific UI for the ETC. For example, the send screen is much more complex in ETC than it is in the ADA. So these will be also things that we need to handle once the API is basically integrated.
Okay, fair enough. I guess we'll have to decide on the scope of what is the minimum integration that we could actually that we could live with, given the complications, given the complicated nature of the send screen. So that's probably something we should chat about.
Yep, for the first phase, we'll probably just implement the basic one.
Okay. Okay, thanks very much, Nicola.
No problem.
Nicholas, you were actually looking at, you managed to get back and look at some of the installer code that's there. Can you let us know how that's going?
Yes, hi guys. Yes, that's right. I've been well. First, I'm looking at during this week at some issues we had that we detected that there was a missing node in our database, a missing MPT node, and due to that, with Alan Bernard, we were taking a look at both LevelDB code and how we handle the Merkle-Patricia tree, and we detected several issues related to that, and there are currently two open requests regarding that, and we'll probably open a third one that we are currently testing. And yes, as you said, after that, I moved into taking a look at the Daedalus installer. I was the current status of that is that I was able to build an embedded an executable which has the Mantis code base and the JVM embedded into it, and I was able to run it successfully and configure it to, for example, run regular sync instead of fast sync. And I've been doing some modifications into the Daedalus installer so as to exchange the Cardano client with Mantis client, and that's I'm currently continuing to working on that and changing the launcher script that the Daedalus installer has that launches both the Cardano client and the Daedalus client, the Daedalus wallet to start the Mantis client instead of the Cardano client.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Nico. So that's really two areas covered. I mean, it's good to hear that the installer is sort of that we're making some progress on it, but we will need to get some support, I think, from the probably from the DevOps team who put that installer together. But at least we're it's good that you're familiar with it, and we're able to make some changes to it. So that should sort of ease the process when we get there. And then the second thing you're working on was just trying to find and fix some of the bugs in LevelDB. I think you said there was 3. I know one was in compaction, and there's another 2. Maybe Alan, could you fill us in on the rest of that?
Yes, sure. As you said, the first issue might be within the compaction process. We have deployed a fix and we are running some tests. But we are not 100% sure it's related to compaction or not. It seems to be working fine now, so it's a good sign. Also, we found an issue in our Merkle-Patricia tree implementation. It was a super rare case, and it was only happening in ROPS 10. So when we started executing on that network, we found the LevelDB error and this one. So the Merkle-Patricia tree is already fixed. There is a pull request open with one approval. So it's waiting for the other one and it will be merged. And the LevelDB, as I just said, it's running on EC2 instances, and hopefully we'll have good news for next week.
Yeah, I think that's, as you said, it's been running now for a while with no errors, but of course that's no guarantee we won't find an error, but it's certainly, I think, better than it was before, and it wasn't terrible before either. So let's see if we can get through the entire regular sync, and I think we'll be close to the end of some of those more scary LevelDB bugs. Okay, thanks, Alan. So then on the other end of things, there was some some significant refactoring going on, and some of it was with a view to making the Ethereum test suite run. So Radek, I think this is the third time you're giving an update on this.
Or like fourth, I'm not sure. Yeah.
How the weeks go by?
Yeah, it's been done for some time now. However, of course, being quite a large change, needed to go through deep review, and yes, that happened. One of the more important changes that came out from this review was that we saw necessity for adding a certain form of validation. However, this turned out to be a bit more complex than we anticipated, so we decided to make that a separate follow-up task. It's not, it doesn't limit the functionality in any way. However, without it, we are possibly vulnerable to a specific sort of spam attack. So anyway, the task has been planned and will commence soon. Anyway, the major thing is that the most important thing here is that the new functionality, and it's a refactor, but also a bit of new functionality. So that's done. We are able to handle more non-standard situations during syncing, and also we are able to run certain groups of blockchain tests from the Ethereum test suite that require chain reorganization. So apart from that, I also have been working last week on implementing EIP 684. This is about handling collisions when creating contracts. So both these tasks together enable us to run the whole suite of blockchain tests, except of course for the Metropolis fork, which we don't support yet. But yeah, those two tasks enable us to run all the tests without explicitly ignoring any cases. And the EIP 684 has been done, though there isn't a pull request yet because that awaits the other task, the block import task. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Radek. I'm trying to create a tenuous link here, but you mentioned the block validation, and there's a tenuous link there because actually, Łukasz, you were looking at the at some block validation, right?
Yes, that's right. Currently, we only have a kind of simplified version of proof of work validation. In my pull request that I have created yesterday, I implemented the full validation using the ETH algorithm, and that currently awaits code reviews. Once that merged, it still needs few minor adjustments. One of those is handling the generated cache for given epochs, so that we don't have to regenerate it when there is a change reorganization. Or the other minor task is to try to improve performance, because currently it slows down our sync process. So these are the follow-up tasks on this one, but the main algorithm is ready.
Yeah, excellent. And that's, I mean, as we've discussed, that's definitely the right way to do it, is just try and get that main algorithm and then put in those follow-up requests so that we keep the PORs relatively small. And of course, my first thought when it comes to you know, the performance slowdown as a result of the validation is that we should include a flag just to turn it off. But
it wouldn't work in this case.
Yeah, that's probably not the brightest idea. Anywho, okay. Yes, I think that's it. Thanks, Łukasz. And Conrad, I know you were looking at the propagating the block hashes when the chain is up to date. Was there more?
Hi. Yes, last week I finished working on separating incoming peers into handshake peers and pending peers. It was already merged, and now I'm working on handling new block hashes messages in our code. Most of the logic is implemented. Now I'm testing it, and I want to get speed up to top of the chain to have most valuable testing done. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's all from my side.
Okay. Okay, cool. So I guess just in general terms of where we're going, we have, there's been quite a few follow-up tasks generated as a result of some of the improvements. I think most of the bugs and things that we found, specifically the LevelDB ones, I think are sorted out. So we have a few PRs that are related to the Ethereum test suite changes. We have a few new bits of functionality, and then we have the follow-up tasks. And of course, we have dataless integration. So we're probably, this would be the height of, I guess, the maximum amount of change is going on probably now. So what we'd like to do is start to merge those and see that taper off with a view to getting back to doing a full sweep of the test and trying to get some kind of candidate together for a dataless release. Again, we've said it a couple of times now, just because there are some factors that we just can't control. But that is the general plan, and I think in the near term we'll be able to talk about when we can get that candidate together. Okay, does anyone have any questions on any of that while we're all together? No. Okay, well, I think that's it for this week. Thanks very much, everybody.
Thanks, bye-bye.
Thanks, bye.
Thanks,
Thank you, bye.
Thanks, Mike.